Welcome to
Wine Time.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
Where two moms will pour a drink,
Espresso, wine,
cocktail, who knows, and tell you stories
or complain.
about moms. You will get the good, inspirational, uplifting, encouraging, the badass,
We all know a badass mom.
and the crime.
Moms who have committed them and or survived them.
This is
Wine Time.
The good, the badass, and the crime.
Hello again. So we just did a full 15-minute intro, and I didn't press record. So let's try this
I think
again.
we'll be able to save it. We just gotta go to the backup.
Oh my god! I was just like, "What is this life I live?"
Don't worry.
It's fine.
We'll be able to get it back.
I'm sure it is fine. So long story short, I was drinking Bacardi. Now I'm drinking coffee. The end. And Heather's also drinking coffee. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Gotta
Okay.
keep your eye on it. Make sure I'm not getting microphones out.
Right. Benny, you stay sleeping right there.
Stay sleeping right there, Benjamin.
No, I said I feel like the microphone should be closer to my face than my drink. So I had to move the drink back a little bit.
It is. I'm not worried about it.
I need to be heard. So it's telling me quality check. Let me make sure.
Quality
check
check.
it.
Check,
Everything.
check. 1, 2,
Everything's
check.
good. So before we start today's episode, we did a little raffle, a little giveaway because we had hit 500 downloads. So we needed to support our supporters. Would you?
Yeah,
would
I
you
love
say
that. Let's support our supporters.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I'm just like, people listen to us?
I know.
What is this life?
Oh, and real quick, shout out to whoever the heck is listening to us in the freaking UK / Ireland area.
Ireland,
That's freaking so awesome.
Can you
saw
please
that.
contact me?
I know. We need to know who you are. Email us.
Yeah.
winetimemoms@gmail.com.
Please
Or
do.
just if we actually know you, just hit us up on our Instagrams or something, because I was just scrolling through, because I don't look at it a lot, or if I do, I'm just looking at the top part that says how many people or whatever. But I happened to scroll down that day, and sure enough, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah, that was so exciting to wake up to. She had sent me a screenshot saying, you have listener in the UK / Northern Ireland. And I was like, what? This is crazy. So, yeah, please reach out to us.
Freaking awesome.
We want to hear from you. That's cool.
Super do.
I mean, we also want to hear from every other person that's here, friends and everything included. So we love it all. But yeah, so Heather went ahead and filled out that wheel with all of the people that did the couple tasks on there, which was pretty easy. Follow us, and then also tag a friend. It's just to help our little podcast grow. That is what we are trying to do at the moment. My phone is blowing up because I'm going to Nashville in a couple weeks. So my mom and Sarah are, since you couldn't come.
I know, I'm the worst.
We're trying to get that planned right now. Okay. Anyways, we are going to do this spin the wheel, and let you guys know who the winner of our merch is. And then once we actually choose the winner, we have some merch. We made some stuff, and we haven't posted it yet because we wanted to say who the winner is and do all of that first. So I've just been eagerly awaiting this day. So
yeah, buddy.
do me.
How we go? Are you ready? Do they say something special on Wheel of Fortune when you spin it? It's spin it.
I don't know. Spin it. I have no idea. Is it?
All right, we're gonna say it. We're just gonna.
But I will drum roll.
Okay, I spin it. Ooh,
spin it. I can't see it. Why not?
Do you hear the little Jen? Woo woo!
Hey, woo, 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 woo. Yeah, buddy. Okay, we are
Shout
going
out
to get
to
into
Jen,
contacts
my
with
old
you.
grad school
Shout out.
buddy. Yeah, girl.
Grad school.
All right, we will hit you up, and you can decide which which merch you're looking for.
Buddy.
And for those of you who didn't win, I mean, we have the merch. You can always buy it.
Yeah, we're going to post some stuff. We're going to show you. You are more than welcome to buy it. We are still kind of trying to figure all of that out and how to even go about this
run a
new
store.
life we're living. Like, who do we think we are? I told my mom, hey, I made you a shirt. I made you a shirt, Mom. We got merch. She's like, you did what?
I told my mom.
We're pretty much.
I told my mom, I said, Mom,
you have to buy 5.
I was like, look, we're making merch for our podcast. And she goes, what's merch?
Yes. That was so funny. Yep. I didn't know
like,
that too
Mom,
long ago. I would have also been like that.
Like stuff you can buy. And she goes, oh, well, that's nice. It just continues on. Like, she doesn't even care.
Nice.
I'm like, all right,
That's
thanks,
nice.
Mom.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, so we will post all of that. We will show all of that. But now we are going to get into today's episode that we have for you guys. But before we do, thank you guys for any of you guys that did, follow, share, like, all of that kind of stuff. Tag your friends. We appreciate it. It's awesome to see the support, and then also just kind of exciting to, see the numbers grow and all of that cool stuff. So we appreciate it. We love you all, especially if you live in Northern Ireland or the UK. Just kidding. All of you.
All of you.
But yeah, so today's episode, we're excited about. So we're going to jump right in, and it's a good one. So woohoo, here we go. For those of you guys that don't see us, we're both sporting our mom buns.
Mom bun.
Eventually, I feel like we're going to have to
Hogwarts.
let them see us. We're kind of
I
fun.
feel like, I know, we should do more than just the picture. But I feel like after a weekend where I wore, quote-unquote, real clothes, today,
yes.
I'm 100% bumming it with my mom bun and my baggy shirt.
I like it.
And my, no joke, maternity biker shorts.
It's totally fine.
But that
Those
is
are the best.
because this last weekend, for the first time, and it has to be like at least a year, because Tempe's 6 months, and I was like, my belly with her was like popping way early. I wore real jeans.
Yes.
Non-maternity, like super elastic whatever. I
Yes,
wore
girl.
real jeans, and I was so beyond excited. And it was so funny, right? Because when I was like telling you, I was trying them on,
Mm-hmm.
and Zach was in the other room.
Yeah, I was on the phone when it happened. You were like,
I know, like, so that's what's great. So the kids weren't here. The kids were at my parents' house. We were getting ready to leave on our first weekend away from both kids. And I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if this works. I haven't even pulled them out of the closet. And I don't even know, like, at least a year. And I slide them up, and I got so freaking excited. They buttoned, no problem. I was so happy. And then Zach is so sweet because he hears me in the other room, like, going, oh my God, Rachel, I'm wearing real jeans. And I get a text from him immediately going, congratulations.
yeah, that is the
like,
cutest. That made my heart
I was
happy.
so
It's
excited.
a good one.
I was feeling myself that day, too. I was like,
Get the
that's
mask
right.
up.
Real
Yes.
jeans.
As
Real
you
jeans,
should
what's
be.
up?
Those are the little accomplishments. People don't, well, I shouldn't say people. Certain people, some people don't understand. Like, if
I
you're a
know.
mom, if you've had a baby, or who knows, maybe if you just went through a weight loss journey, whatever.
Yep.
Like, those kind of moments where it's like, you fit into something that you're like, someday, I'm holding on to this piece of clothing for the someday.
Exactly. It's way more fulfilling than like going to the store and even like buying a smaller size or something
Right.
like that. Like, you're like, oh, okay. When you fit into old clothes, you're like, oh my gosh.
I don't know what that feels like, but I'm glad that you I'm just kidding. I've had my moments after babies, but I still have a box from like high school, and I was pulling stuff up because why I brought them to Kentucky with me, I have no idea. I should have just got rid of them before. But I was pulling stuff out and like posting them the other day. And I'm holding up these like shorts. And I'm just like, there's no way I fit into that. There's just no way. But we are going to get into it because today's case, it's a long one.
But a good one.
But a good one. She knows a little bit about this one.
Just a little bit.
So right now, you guys are listening. It is August, and August is Cold Case Awareness Month. So this month, I'm actually telling two. We're not going to hear from Heather as much. I'm sorry, you guys. She'll be back, I promise. But this month, I'm actually telling two different cold cases. And this one specifically is a cold case that was solved 46 years later. So there's a lot to say. I'm going to get straight into it. But stay tuned because at the end of this episode, I actually have something that I'm going to share with you guys. So for any of you guys that just listened to the first 10 minutes, don't do that. Listen to all of it because it's good. Yeah. And I will let you know what's up because we got a little something special coming up for you guys pretty soon. So with that said, I'm going to tell you my story, Heather. Heather. I'm just going to put it bigger. All right.
Bigger.
Alrighty. Bigger. Did you see the poll wherever I did the poll on Instagram and I was like, hey, which episode is your guys' favorite or whatever? And so many people were going in between like Wanda Holloway and Stacey Castor. And I was like, come on. Like, I think it's funny because Stacey's case is wild. It's crazy. Like,
it's
I
way
understand
good.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm still all about that banter and the Wanda
I know.
Holloway.
That was like the best one.
Yes, it was. Okay. Hope I can make this not 2 hours long. Let me get to reading. Okay, so July 31st, 1970, the Carbon County Police Department was called to a home in Price, Utah, where they found a 23-year-old Loretta Jones, her lifeless body, laying in a pool of her own blood in the living room of her home. This beautiful mother, daughter, and friend, her life was taken way too soon by the hands of a pitiful disgrace of a man named Tom Egley. Loretta Jones's case went cold for 46 years until finally in 2016, Egley was arrested and put behind bars where he should remain the rest of his life. Here's the tragic story of Loretta Jones. Loretta Jones was a single mother raising her daughter Heidi. They lived in what they thought was a safe community in Price, Utah, where they would get ice cream together and sit on the porch waving to their neighbors. It was a smaller town where everyone knew everyone, and if you didn't know them by name, you knew someone who knew that person. Loretta's father was a contractor and built many buildings and businesses, and he bought the home that Loretta and her daughter were living in. All the while, she was taking classes to become an accountant, but her life was taken away too soon. Heidi woke up the morning of the 31st, saying that she peeked through the keyhole before walking out of her room. When she came out, she saw her mom lying, murdered on the floor. She ran outside and saw a neighborhood boy digging for worms, and he had tried calling her over, but she said she couldn't because her mommy was dead. The boy, who was a little older, I believe he was like 9 or 10, ran over, looked into the home to see the awful scene. They both went to his home and told his mom, who then went over and saw Loretta's body herself and called the police as well as Loretta's parents. The police arrived and began doing their initial investigation immediately. Who could have done such an awful thing? They take pictures of Loretta. They search the home for anything they could find evidence-wise. They start questioning the family and friends. And on that very day, the 4-year-old daughter told the police and grandparents that Tom did it. Well, who was this Tom? Crazy enough, or maybe not crazy at all. Maybe exactly what should have been a huge red flag was the night before they found Loretta's body, in the same neighborhood, a little girl named Lori was nearly kidnapped while she was playing outside of her home. Lori and her brothers were playing outside like they normally would, and she said she did notice that there was a man sitting under the light post, with a yellow hat on, eating a burger, but her and her brothers just continued to play. Her brothers both had went inside, thinking that Lori was right behind them, but a few moments later, they heard screams and went back out front to see Lori in a panic, pointing down the street at a man who was running away. He dropped his yellow hat that he was wearing, and then he made sure to pick it up before continuing to run off into the distance. Lori told her family that the man had came up from behind her, put his hand over her mouth, picking her up, trying to take her. She had spit her gum into his hand, which
Good job,
seemingly
girl.
alarmed him, and she screamed, which had apparently, it caught him off guard, and she was able to get free and run away.
Good job. How old was she?
Everyone, you guys, pay attention to these things. You have to do anything. You gum in your mouth, spit in his, anything. Hit the person, scream, make any kind of, noise, movement to just alarm the other person.
Start
She was,
fucking
I
swinging,
think she was
man.
10. She was 10 years old, I believe.
You go, Lori. Good for you, girl.
Yes. So she was able to run free. This hat, though, that he had bent over to pick up was an important item when searching for the attempted kidnapper. Apparently, a yellow hat that had floral markings on it, and it was like a worker's cap, wasn't very common.
Right.
And someone said that the yellow hat was hung outside of an apartment door next to where they had lived. So they were able to find him at the hotel that he was staying at that time and place him in a lineup for Lori to attempt to point out the man who, had tried to take her. So they had everyone lined up, and immediately she pointed at the man who was identified as Tom Egley. So Tom was arrested and booked for attempted kidnapping. And at this time, it was the police, they had began to look into, this Tom as the same Tom who a specific 4-year-old said killed her mom.
Right.
Timeline-wise, if you're following, a man named Tom attempted to kidnap a little girl in the same neighborhood that a woman was murdered in her home, where the daughter said a man named Tom did it the very next morning.
I mean, come on. It's just right there.
Right there. So, obviously, even if it's right there, you can't arrest or convict someone without evidence. So, during Tom's stay in jail for his attempted kidnapping charges, they tried to figure out if he was the one who murdered Loretta. Over time and searching, they did not have the evidence that they needed. So Tom ended up being released a free man, where he was able to live his life for 46 freaking years, knowing damn well what he had done.
Such bullshit.
How do you even live with yourself? I don't
Because he's a freaking psychopath? Because he's trash?
The thing is, though, even though it took 46 years, he did get arrested, and he did get charged with Loretta's murder. And it was all because of a certain little 4-year-old girl whose life changed that awful morning when she lost her mom. Her name was Heidi, and she wasn't done fighting for justice for her mom. She said over the years she had tried to bring her mom's case back into the forefront of investigators' minds. She had contacted the Carbon County Police Department, the Utah Cold Case Coalition, as well as even trying to contact the new TV series Cold Case Files, but nothing ever came from it. While researching this case, in an interview with Heidi, who is now Heidi Jones, AC, she stated how she had moved to California. She lived there for many years until it was finally time to make another change. California wasn't doing it for her, so she moved back to Utah. But before she did, she was talking with a good friend of hers, and she told her if she was going to go back home, she was going to get her mom's murder case solved. And that's exactly what she helped to do.
I just got
2009.
shivers.
Huh?
I just got goosebumps.
Goosebumps, shivers, yes. So 2009 is when things got started again. Heidi's car was stolen, and she had posted to Facebook about it. And a friend had actually commented on that post something along the lines of, "Too bad you're not closer. I work for the sheriff's department in Carbon County." And instantly, the bells in Heidi's head went off, and she knew she had to get in contact with him, because of her mom. His name is David Brewer. Heidi actually ran into Detective Brewer, at the Helper Arts Festival in Utah. When I say ran into him, it was kind of on purpose. She had actually planned to go there and talk to him, which, she made happen because she's a friggin' badass. So she stalked him and figured out what he looked like currently and all the different things about him to make sure that she was going to see him, knowing that he was going to be there. So she ran into him and she pretty much said, hey, my mom was murdered in 1970. Can you open her cold case and help me solve it? And from that moment, it was go time. He told her to contact him Monday, which she did, telling him everything she knew and sending him every single thing that she had saved or found over the years that had to do with her mom's case. Unfortunately, over time, many of the things from Loretta Jones' case had been lost or damaged, so they did not have much to work with. Detective Brewer asked Loretta Jones' mother, Ludine, if they could exhume her body because they didn't have enough to work with. Everything that they should have had was gone.
So
any
crazy.
Evidence, any kind of pictures, any kind of reports, anything either wasn't available, was lost, was damaged, all of it.
What's the craziest part about that is you would think, especially like with a cold case, that those files, those evidence boxes, all of that would be like especially you know what I mean? Because like even though it's 1970, like they don't have like all the DNA stuff going yet, but like they know like technology comes and we can get to the point one day where we can solve it. So you would think that like especially with cold case files, they like lock that stuff down and they take extra care to make sure that this stuff isn't lost. It's just so crazy to me. Like think about how many cold cases just like sit there because evidence has just been destroyed.
Well,
or
another
lost.
thing is, as time goes on, as technology evolves, and this is with any job, but I would assume all of those files aren't they hiring someone to
digitize
update all of those?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that should be progressing and moving forward in the way, with the times.
Right.
So yeah, that is crazy. But they didn't have that to work with. So
crazy.
because they didn't have that, Detective Brewer, I feel like he was at like a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually went to Loretta Jones's mother, Ludine, and he had asked if they could exhume Loretta's body because they didn't have enough to work with.
Right.
And she was not having it. She's like, absolutely not. There's no way. So Detective Brewer, with the help of Heidi, continued forward, but they just kept hitting walls. One thing after another, they would try, but there was nothing that they could work with. And, this whole time, they know who it is.
Right.
It's just finding the way to say, this is why, this is how we can prove it.
Right.
It's him. So, finally, many years later, from when they started in 2009, in 2016, Detective Brewer brought up the idea of the exhumation again, but this time to Heidi, the daughter, because Loretta's mother, Ludine, had actually passed away. So he mentioned to Heidi, and her response, and I quote, was, "Get me a shovel and I will help you dig."
Yep.
And instantly, I said, "Give me a shovel. I will also help you. I will dig with you."
Yeah.
So during the exhumation process, though, water damage had completely ruined the coffin and the ability to obtain any DNA evidence from Loretta's body that they were hoping for. This felt very defeating, but Heidi was still not going to give up. Although the exhumation didn't help in the way that they would have hoped, it still did help bring answers forward. The exhumation was widely publicized, and people started talking. First off, before I continue, if you know something in a case, in anything along these lines, I will say, you have to say something. Like, I feel like this is a good time to talk about this. If you've seen something, it could be scary, right? It can be, I don't even know how to say the things that I'm thinking right now. In so many cases, especially cold cases, people know things.
Right.
People are aware of things that have happened, but they either keep it to themselves for whatever reason. They're scared.
Right.
They don't like the police. They don't want to help. Whatever it may be, they don't want to get involved. The thing is people are, what's the word? Grieving. People are sad.
Yeah.
People are trying. People are spending their every waking hour trying to get answers. And you might have those answers,
Right.
You cannot keep these things to yourself. It makes no sense to me. So if you know something, you might think it's small. You might think they already know it, but they need to know.
So don't take the chance that they already know. Like, definitely just say something.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, this exhumation, like I said, it was publicized on purpose. That was one of the other things that they were trying to do. And people did start talking. So with that said, one person who spoke up was a family friend during the time that Loretta had been murdered. Her name was Linda. She contacted Heidi and asked if she could get into contact with Brewer, that she had something that he needed to see. She showed Detective Brewer that in one of the evidence photos from Loretta laying on the living room floor, you could make out a T and an O in blood by her arm.
That is so insane.
Loretta Jones attempted to spell out her murderer's name on the floor in her own blood before she died. I just got goosebumps.
Me too.
I will post the picture for you guys to see. But yes, so in this photo, which, they had seen.
Right.
The investigators saw this. They're aware of it. And, the thing is how I see it. Sometimes you're so busy looking for something specific, you oversee something else, maybe. So it's like something as obvious as this photo evidence of T and an O being right there. I don't see how you can oversee it, but it's
especially
crazy. It's crazy.
After Heidi had said it was
It's
Tom.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that they wouldn't put this together.
Right, absolutely. So that's just one of the things that had came forward. And I don't know if that was brought up before. I'm not sure if that was ever brought up before, but the fact that that just came out too, if that was the first time, where you been at?
Right.
Where have you been? Come on. So another person, Detective Brewer, had also gotten into contact with Marcia H. I'm just leaving her whole name out because I don't know why, but I am. So Marcia was, you could look her up. It's easy. So you got something to say it. But Marcia was actually dating Tom at the time of Loretta's murder and was pregnant with his child. So they were living together at the hotel that I spoke of earlier, the one, where he attempted to kidnap Lori, where his hat was hanging on the wall by the door. Anyways, so she was dating him. She was pregnant. But in the beginning, she didn't say anything. She didn't come up to the cops and say anything when Loretta was first murdered. Do I know why? No, I don't know why. Assuming she was scared.
I'm guessing
the point
she was
is
scared, yeah.
And how would you not be afraid of this guy? Look at what he's done. So Detective Brewer had tried talking to her, and at first she didn't want to talk. But she finally did, and she told Brewer that Tom was out that night of the 30th. And he had came home in the early morning hours of the 31st. He came home with blood on himself and on his clothing. Then he proceeded to take a bath. And in some sources, they say that he took his clothes off and then he bathed. And then in some sources, they say he actually just got into the bath with his clothes on.
Yeah. Trying
Either
to
way,
wash off extra evidence.
Yeah. Either way, he washed up and the next morning told Marcia he was going to go to the laundromat, which she said was odd because he never did laundry. She did the laundry. While he was doing laundry, and air quotes, if you could see me, while he was doing laundry, another witness during that time actually said they saw Egley across the street. They were at another business, so they saw him across the street with a burning barrel
That is
next
so
to him.
insane.
So I don't understand how all of this didn't add up back then.
Right.
And it just goes again. If you know something, say something.
Right.
These are things that if they would have just been said during that time,
You wouldn't.
oh, evidence?
Yeah.
You're looking for evidence? Let me hand it over to you on a silver platter. Sorry, I get aggressive sometimes. anyways, so that also makes me think, whatever clothes during the investigation during that time, you know, the investigators ask for evidence, or like the clothes you're wearing.
Right.
They take pictures, they take samples of your hair, of your blood, whatever. And so it's like he did give clothes, but apparently they weren't the ones that he was wearing.
Definitely
Because he burnt them.
Mm-hmm.
He burnt them.
Yep.
So, oh, man. Okay. So, anyways, if you know something, say something. Okay. We're moving on. Another person came forward, and she had something crazy to say. Her name was Lisa Carter. She was actually the current neighbor of Egley's. She said that after the exhumation was all over the TV, remember, they wanted it highly publicized for a reason. Egley had came over asking if anything was going to happen, Egley had came over to her asking if anything was to happen to him, would she be able to take care of his dogs? Strange. That's strange. What are you thinking is going to happen to you, Egley? But another time, he actually asked, how long do you think DNA evidence lasts on a body?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Tom, you fucking idiot. Or you genius. I mean, you're setting it up for yourself. So, yes, I say you idiot, but at the same time, thank you. Lisa Carter offered to the police to wear a wire and try to get Tom to tell her what happened that night. And she did. He actually told Lisa everything. He did lie about some of it because he said that they had consensual sex, and then afterwards he stabbed her. But that part was a lie. He raped her. Then he cut her throat, and he stabbed her 17 times, leaving Loretta's dead body on the floor of her living room for her 4-year-old daughter to find the following morning.
So crazy.
Oh,
First, Lisa, you're friggin' awesome.
Yes.
Like, it's so awesome when, like, I mean, she didn't have to do that, right? But she had a feeling. She was like, this guy's not good news. And she says, like, I'll wear a wire. I can get him to say it. Like, screw this guy, you know, like, and it's so just like, thank goodness for people like Lisa.
Yeah, seriously, if you know something, say it. This is the theme of the episode. At the same time, how hard would that be to sit there and, I mean, you have this hunch, you have this suspicion, you could even actually know it. But to sit there and actually, in that moment, hear someone give up this confession.
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
she just knew, like, she probably knew in the back of her head. She's like, I just got to sit here. I got to keep a straight face. I got to do this because this, like, I got to get this guy. And she just, you know, she's a boss for being able to do that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So one of the things that breaks my heart, but at the same time, no, it just breaks my heart. But Heidi said in one of the interviews is that she didn't remember hearing anything that night. Yeah. And I truly believe that, you know, Loretta had stayed quiet, like as quiet as she could to keep Heidi
to protect her. Yeah.
Right. And you know, how do you stay quiet? But the thing is like to just do everything. She did everything. She stayed quiet so her daughter could stay safe. She literally tried to
spell out his
paint it out on the floor in her blood to give you, like, the investigator something.
Right.
It's wild.
She did everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah, she did.
It's amazing.
So, with that wire, though, they had a confession. Detective Brewer called Heidi and told her that he needed to tell her something. And he ended up showing her pictures, showing her photos of Tom Egley being arrested, wearing pink handcuffs.
Yeah, buddy.
I love that part. Yeah, so he showed the pictures, and she was just, like, baffled. Like, oh, my God, did it happen? Did it happen? 46 years she had to live with this, knowing who it was the entire time. And finally, she gets that photo, gets that, you know, God, what's the right word? Like that just moment of like, I did it. We did it.
Right.
It's happening. He's about to be where he needs to be. So August of 2016, like I said numerous times, 46 years later, Tom Egley was arrested for the murder of Loretta Jones. In October of 2016, Tom sat in court where he was sentenced to 10 years to life for his crime. He ended up getting sentenced to 20 years. And Loretta Jones' daughter, Heidi Jones AC, sat in the courthouse every single day to make her presence known to this monster. Mm-hmm. She described him as a fragile and frail-looking being and said he didn't age well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this guy spends the remainder of his life behind bars where he belongs. That was the very sad case of Loretta Jones, whose life was taken way, way, way too soon. Now that I have told you Loretta Jones' story, I have something else to share with you all. I know at the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that I would be telling you guys something at the end of this. So here we are. This case is so tragic and sad, but one of the main things that I take from it, and hopefully many of you can take from it as well, is never give up. Why do I want to cry? This case was cold for 46 years. Heidi's mom, Loretta, was gone from her for 46 years, and she kept trying time and time again. She wasn't going to take no for an answer and continued to exhaust all of her options. She created her own case folder and tried to get her mom's case open time and time again. Well, eventually it worked. And although it took way too long, Heidi's consistency and strength to push through all of it, the no's and the roadblocks, and just continue to never give up, it got the man who was responsible for all of this locked up. And I just think she's a fucking badass who really gives hope to others. Yeah.
That's what's so amazing about her, is that there are so many points along that freaking 46 years where, I mean, so many people could have just been like, there's nothing else to do. There's no other road. There's no other option, right? Like, I mean, it happened when she's so young. They, for whatever reason, I feel like, there was just nothing there. But she kept it in the, like, she could have just said, well, it is what it is, but she didn't. She kept at it. And then even all those years later, when she gets in touch with, Detective Brewer, and he's like, well, there's no evidence. And she's like, well, here's what I have. At that point, he's like, well, there's not a lot here. Like, at that point, she goes, well, if there's not a lot there, there's not a lot there. But she kept going. And then when the grandmother was like, no exhumation, she could have said, well, then there goes that option. She could have stopped there. She kept going. And then even when the exhumation, like when there was nothing, like no physical evidence they could pull from the exhumation, she's like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're still gonna fight for this. And had they not decided, even without, the physical evidence from the exhumation, we're still we're still making this as public as possible, eventually that leads to where, you're able to get that confession from that piece of crap. But there's so many points along that road where she could have easily said, look, there's nothing else I can do. But she kept at it, and she had that strength, and she had that persistence. And it's just amazing, that they were able to, get to where they're at now. And it's just, it really goes to show her badassness. 100%.
Yeah. So that her badass, she gives hope to others that it's possible.
Yeah.
You just have to keep trying. You have to keep going. And with that said, Heather and I got the chance to talk with Heidi and get her story firsthand. And we're going to share that with you guys. Tomorrow, I will be dropping our interview episode with Miss Heidi Jones AC, where she gives more insight about her mom's case, her life growing up, and how she helped to solve, her mom's murder case and put that fucking monster behind bars where he belongs. Mm-hmm. The day her mom's life was taken, she told the officers Tom did it. and she tells us all about her journey to get him locked up. So, I mean, come back tomorrow. Listen to that episode. Heidi is an amazing person who we truly just enjoyed getting to talk to. And I think she's just an inspiration to anyone and everyone to keep going and to just believe. So enjoy tomorrow's bonus episode, and we'll talk to you guys next Thursday. Woo! You guys. Can't wait.
So exciting.
Yeah, I know. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you, bye.
I was like staring at it. I didn't know if you were saying
Oh,
anything.
yeah. I don't know. I'm still dealing with the chills that I have right now. It's so freaking cool.